بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In the Quran and Sunnah and in our deen of Islam in general, we are always encouraged to be hopeful and to have a level of optimism. And we're always challenged and discouraged to have any type of despair or like a lack of hope and that sort of thing, right? And there's lots of ayat and ahadith about this where, the Prophet says, تَفَاءَلُوا بِالْخَيْرِ تَجِدُوا, or he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about himself, أَنَا عِنْدَ حُسْنِ ظَنِّ عَبْدِي بِي, and many other ahadith as well, right? About having like a good opinion about circumstances, about what's happening to you, about what's happening around you, even though you may see things like, it's fever pitch, it's like reached the end point and there's something's got to be done, what's happening here? You still have to have this level of this hope, this level of tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this level of reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the way out is going to come. Even when you find yourself in the most difficult of situations, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مَنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like encouraging you to, even in your most dire like points and situations, you have to be hopeful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to find a way out for you. Tamam? And when it's even like narrated about the Anbiya alayhimus salam, وَزُلْزِلُوا حَتَّى يَقُولَ الرَّسُولُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ أَلَا إِنَّ نَصْرَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ. That's the most important part, right? So the Rusul and those who are with the Rusul, they are calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where is the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When is it going to come? Not doubting in the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it's going to come, but the time, like, it's time, like I can't take it anymore, right? I need it to come right now. Tamam? So even in that dire situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ala inna nasrallahi qareeb, know that the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very close, really close. So don't lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't lose hope and don't despair, and don't have this iman that you have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and iman which you have in your fellow sort of Muslims, in your fellow human beings, don't let that light dissipate, don't let that light extinguish. Tamam? But you have to know, brothers and sisters, right, that this is not like the standard modus operandi of a human being. You weren't created hopeful. In fact, you were created the opposite. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ خُلِقَ هَلُوعًا وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ. Tamam? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you naturally to be halu'a. Like if something bad happens to you, like you're quick to despair. You're quick to be like, oh, it's the end. Oh no, I can't. Like, what's happened? What did I do to deserve this? Why has this happened to me? Has this not happened to anybody else? So that they could share in my despair, right? That's how we are created. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us that this is how I've created you. I've created you in this way, right? وَإِن مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ فَيَئُوسٌ قَنُوطٌ. This is how the human condition is. Whenever like what is seemingly bad it befalls us, we are quick to think bad of the situation. Quick to be like, you know what, this is a terrible situation. It must be somebody's fault. I need to find someone to blame. That sort of feeling, right? So you can like sort of classify that as despair in sort of broad terms. Tamam? We're quick to despair, and this is the natural predisposition of a human being, right? Someone could say, I thought the fitrah was la ilaha illallah, right? You don't despair from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Wahdaniyat Allah. Yes, but also your predisposition is also to want comfort and to want good things and to be happy and not to be sad and not to be in a position of frustration and anger and so on and so forth. The Prophet ﷺ also, he describes the human condition in many ahadith. So he talks about like how mankind is like, from them are sari'ul ghadab, bati'ul ghadab, sari'ul fayt. Sari'ul ghadab, sari'ul fayt. فَتِلْكَ بِتِلْكَ. ومنهم سريع الغضب بطيء الفيء. ومنهم بطيء الغضب بطيء الفيء. ألا إن خيرهم بطيء الغضب سريع الفيء وشرهم سريع الغضب بطيء الفيء. What does this mean? Sounds like you're saying sari and bati all the time. What's quick and what's slow? What are you talking about here? The Prophet ﷺ is describing the human condition in this hadith. It's narrated in At-Tirmidhi. وَقَالَ عَنْهُ أَنَّهُ حَسَنٌ صَحِيحٌ. Except Al-Albani has a different opinion about it. But ma alayna, no problem. Even if there is some statement in the sanad of the hadith, no problem. The Prophet ﷺ is basically saying in this hadith that from people, there are 4 different types. The first one is he is slow to anger, and when he does get angry, he's quick to return to his natural state, like his stable state. The second person is that he's quick to get angry, but he's also quick to come back to. فَتِلْكَ بِتِلْكَ, meaning that when he's quick to get angry, he's also quick to come back. So it cancels it out. The third type is the one who is quick to get angry, but slow to come back. Yani his anger stays. When he's frustrated about something, he's going to spend weeks, if not months, just complaining about the same thing again and again and again. And whenever a sort of a munasabah comes, whenever something like comes that is related to that incident that happened, Ya Allah, he's narrating the story again and again and again. It's like, yeah, I've heard this story from you a million times. When are you going to stop talking about it? I know, like, the Khilafah in Baghdad fell in the 7th century. It's all good. Stop telling me that. I know Abdul Hamid Hathani was the last Khalifa. Stop telling me that we need to get the Khilafah back. It's all good. I know, I'm with you. Tamam? And then what was that? The fourth person is the one who is slow to get angry and slow to come back. The Prophet ﷺ said, the best one is the one who is slow to get angry and quick to come back. And the worst of mankind is the one who is quick to get angry and slow to come back. The opposite. Tamam? And this is just an example of how the Prophet ﷺ is describing the human condition. Natural. It's natural in us to have this feeling of like despair and like losing hope and stuff like that, and these emotions getting the better of us and so on and so forth. It's normal. The Prophet ﷺ is trying to tell you that this is how people are, right? Which means that having this tafa'ul, having this like hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this husn al-dhann in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being like someone who has optimism and positivity and stuff like that, this is not like a normal thing. This is something that has to be worked towards. Tamam? And we have in the Sharia, we have in the Quran, we have in the Sunnah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing for us like the descriptive qualities of a person who is mutafa'il, a person who is hopeful in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is optimistic. And we also have the opposite as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in the Quran the opposite, the people who are full of despair, and as a result of their despair they turn away from the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they don't see in it a path to salvation, they don't see in it a path to success in the dunya. Nahikan al-akhirah. Tamam? And we have to remember, that in the Quran and the Sunnah, most of it is about the characteristics of the human condition. It doesn't talk about like what to do. Like, how do you set up a society? What kind of framework do you need to have? What kind of structures do you need to have in order for the society to be optimistic and to be positive and to be working together and have this ta'awun? No. He talks about qualities of the human being, individual qualities of each human being. Tamam? Which means that, like if you want to really know about like psychology, how the mind works, how the human being like experiences life and so on and so forth, if you don't use the Quranic framework, you're going to be talking nonsense. You might find some truth in what like certain psychologists say and anthropologists say and that sort of thing. They might like sort of coincide with some element of the truth, but if it's devoid of the Quran, then khalas, like it's not going to be like on point. And you can't say that about any other science. You can't say that about like geography or biology or anything like that, because the Quran doesn't talk about human biology as much as it talks about human psychology. It doesn't talk about like the earth and its like topography and like how the sediment of the rock and stuff like that, and how the world. It doesn't talk about that much. It doesn't talk about that sort of thing, in as much as it is a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. But about the human being and about the characteristics and qualities of the human being, hadith wala haraj. There are hundreds, if not thousands of ayat that talk about this. And they talk about it in various different ways. They talk about it in stories of the people of the past. They talk about it in the descriptive qualities of the believers, the descriptive qualities of the disbelievers and the munafiqun and so on and so forth, right? Al-Quran hafilun bihadihi al-ayat. Tamam. So this leads us to the tafa'ul, having sort of hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not going to talk about that though, because that's easy. right? That's easy. What I'm going to talk about is the opposite, despair, right? And there's three types of despair. There's like the really bad despair. There's the hidden type of despair, right? You despair, but you just don't know it, right? And then there's the good type of despair. Allah, you can despair in a good way. Is the good type of despair? Let me tell you. The first type of despair is like the really bad type, right? And that's the person who is just absolutely like, you tell him anything, they're just going to rubbish your idea straight away. There is no optimism, there's no hope in them whatsoever. You give them any idea about a personal endeavor that you want, like a business thing that you want to do, and like, I want to be like, some sort of entrepreneur and open up a business and this and that and the other. And they'll just look at you and they'll just rubbish the entire idea because they themselves have no hope in their own selves of achieving anything like that. So they don't see it in you either, so they rubbish your idea. When you tell them about, wallah, the Muslims need to do X, Y, Z in order to reinvigorate and revive the nobility of the Muslims on the earth. We need to get back Al-Quds. Right? And the way to do it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Someone starts opening this chapter, straight away, wallah, nah, that's all done. No, there's no hope, and khalas, and everything is finished. Or, this type of person, you find them one of two ways. Either they are like in absolute despair all the time. So whatever idea you bring them, they're just like, nah, rubbish, right? And they will always knock down. Every time a Muslim raises his head up with an amazing idea, he's always there to rubbish it. Whether that's in the deen, by like takfir and tabdi' and like, oh, this guy's a mubtadi' so you can't take from him and stuff like that, right? Yeah, he's giving da'wah, man, let him do his thing. La, yam, he's got to be upon my way of thinking. Or if it's in the dunya, he's just after the dunya anyway, man. There's no ikhlas in it. He's not going to serve the deen in it or anything like that. Yeah, man, what's wrong with you, bro? Let him do his thing. Do you know what I mean? Maybe inshallah he's going to go through his path. Okay, he might go away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide him. And with all of that success, inshallah, he's going to do something great for the Muslims. It may be that يَسْبِقُ عَلَيْهِ الْكِتَابِ فِي آخِرِ حَيَاتِهِ. At the end of his life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, whatever's written for him, aka from the people of Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts that into his heart and he does something from the people of Jannah and like way bigger than anything that you ever expected. Allah is in control, man, not you. So relax. Tamam? So you find him like, either he's like extraordinarily like in despair, or he's extreme in his hopefulness. We're gonna go back to Al-Quds tomorrow. How? No, we're just gonna do it. Well, we just need to do it. We all need to do it together. It's like, okay, like, where's the plan? No plan. Just go. Tawakkal ala Allah. That's it. We're just gonna go. Like, okay, chill, relax, right? You find him one of two ways. That's the first type, right? And that is the one who is like sadiq biqawlihi subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna al-insana khuliqa halu'a. This is the type of person he's just halu'a, right? He's always, if something bad happens to him, it's over. Tamam? And the result of that is like he's just gone through really, really bad experiences in his life. He's been disappointed a lot. He had really high hopes in something and he was disappointed again and again. This reverb is annoying. But he's disappointed again and again, and as a result he's just lost hope. Tamam? And the ilaj for this, the overcoming of this, is that you have tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it's not this one, man. You ruined it, Sulaiman. It's in the flow there, innit? It's not this one, it's this one. Tamam? So, you have tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have absolute iman in His qudra, that He is in charge and He's in control, and regardless of what you think is going to happen and what you think should happen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be in control of that. The second level of tasha'um, the second level of despair, is the hidden despair. Like you are in despair but you don't know it. Tamam? And a person in this situation is like, you tell him something, like, inshallah, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he's got the Muslims back, He's going to look after the Muslims, inshallah ta'ala, everything's going to be okay. And he'll sit and be like, no, inshallah, absolutely, But in his heart, he's just like, la, khalas, inta. It's like, we're going to build this masjid and we're going to redevelop it. It's going to be a huge place for the Muslims to come to. And we're going to have all these activities and all these services for the Muslims and stuff like that. It's like, inshallah, all good. Do you know what I mean? That type of person, right? Hidden despair. He doesn't know that he's despairing, but he is in despair. Tamam? This is also not a good characteristic, because that person, whenever Muslims are moving towards something, he is secretly going to be sabotaging it and he's not even going to know. أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They are the ones who are ruining things, but they're not aware. Tamam? And the third type is the despair that is good. Right? A good type of despair. Meaning that you recognize that what's happening around you is not good. What's going on in your life is like against what you had planned in the first place, and against what you think is right, and what you can see from the Sharia and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you, what the Prophet tells you is being good. Tamam? People are dying, people are getting killed, and so on and so forth. Right? The best example of this, Yaqub alayhi salam. Tamam? His children are telling him, Wallah, tafta'u tadhkuru Yusuf. Yusuf's gone for so long, and you're still remembering him after all these years, and he's crying his eyes out. Right? And like, innama ashku bathi wa huzni ila Allah, all this jazz, right? And you think like, khalas man, he's gone for so many years. What are you hoping for right now? What are you hoping for? Right? So there's a level of despair because he is upset and he is calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he is broken as a result of you losing Yusuf alayhi salam. But at the same time, what does he say to his sons? Inni a'lamu min Allahi ma la ta'lamun. I know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you don't know. So yes, there is like, I can see in reality it's a bad situation, but I know in my heart of hearts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to look after me and He's going to bring me back Yusuf. And when he actually comes back and he's reunited with Yusuf alayhi salam, what does he say to his sons? Alam aqul lakum inni a'lamu min Allahi ma la ta'lamun. Did I not tell you that I know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you don't know? Right? This is also like exemplified by the Prophet ﷺ in the Battle of Ahzab, when he comes and he smashes the rock and he says, Allahu Akbar, futihat li mulku Kisra, Allahu Akbar, futiha li mulku Qaysar. He smashes the rock and he says, Allahu Akbar, I see we have conquered Persia, and I can see the white palaces. And then he smashes the rock again and says, Allahu Akbar, I see that we have conquered Rome. Where is he when he's saying this? He's in the trenches of Medina, being besieged by 10,000 mushrikun. Right? Despair in front of you, but the hope is there in your heart of hearts. Tamam? And that is where a true believer should be, inshaAllah ta'ala. And that is where we should all strive to be, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Naktafi bihadha al-qadr. We'll stop there, inshaAllah ta'ala, so that we can start with our sunan and the khutbah, inshaAllah ta'ala, with the adhan. Should we do the announcements now, or should we do it later?